Hello everyone, welcome back. Today I'm going to show you how to make antler buttons. So here I have a sample of two of them that I made. And if you notice, they're not exactly the same. To me, if you're going to make something handmade like this, okay, you want it to look as authentic as you possibly can. It's not made by a machine, it's handmade. So you kind of want them, similar, but not exactly the same, in my opinion. These two were cut out of the same antler, and they were sanded and polished, and the holes drilled. And as you can see, like I said, they're not exactly the same. They're a little bit off. On these, I left some of the brown part of the antler. You could sand all of that away if you want, make it just look like ivory. Then they're polished. It's a little cloudy out today. I'm not sure if you could see the shine on them, but they're pretty shiny. So let me get some stuff together, and I'll show you how to make these. Alright, so I have some pieces of antler here. I also brought a flashlight. I wanted to see if I could get the shine off of these for you to see it. If you can see that shine off of there. Alright, so now just a couple quick things. The closer the antler part is to the pedicle, the base of the antler that comes off the skull, you're going to see, if you look in here, you'll see this part here. This is softer than the outside. Okay, this doesn't polish well, doesn't sand as well as the further up you get towards the tip of the antler. Then it becomes solid. If you look here, very, very little of that, I guess, I don't know what you want to call it. It's like a pith, right, inside a piece of wood. That center part. So the closer up you get, if you can see here, there's nothing. So that's the part of the antler you'll want to cut it off of. Okay, so now there's a couple methods. You could split this way and then cut it this way, and you'll end up with a little slab like this. Okay, now this has none of that pithy stuff in it, so this polishes up nice. Okay, this is what I use to make those. Or you could just cut it. Marker's running out there. You could just cut it off like this. Okay, and then polish both sides, but you're not going to get any of that brown in there. So it depends on what you want to do. So let me take you over to my little scroll saw. I'll show you how I cut it. I use a scroll saw. If you have a bandsaw, you can use a bandsaw. If you don't have any of those, you could just use a regular old hacksaw to cut them by hand. So let me get set up over there and I'll show you how I cut these. Okay, so I'm set up on my scroll saw over here. Again, if you want to cut it off this way, you're going to put it in like that. And if you want to do the slab style, you're going to go across it. So I'll cut off a little piece here. I'll show you that. And again, if you don't have this, just use a hacksaw. Always remember safety first. Go very slow with this because it's going to grab it and try to throw it out. And always wear your safety glasses. There you go. The start of your button. So again, if you wanted to do the slab style, you're going to do the same thing. Come in here and cut it right down the middle, the same way I just cut that off. So let me get reset up and show you the next step. Okay, next thing you're going to want is some type of Dremel tool. This one is a very inexpensive Harbor Freight special. I think with my discounted coupon, it was like less than $7. Had a bunch of attachments in it. Again, it's not very powerful. It's kind of lame, to be honest with you. But for little crafts like this, I mean, if you get 5, 6, 7, 10, 15 crafts out of it, and then it breaks, I think it's well worth the money. So if you don't have a real, Dremel tool or Roto tool or something like that, you can go pick one of these up. Like I said, it was under $7. So now what we're going to do is we're going to get a shape on this like a button. So let's get at it. Okay, so you get the idea. So you're going to round this up, you know, or you can make it an oval, as some of the other ones I've shown on some of the other projects I've had. Um, Again, you can make this as perfect or as imperfect as you want for whatever type of project that you're doing. So you continue on with the sander, go around. You want to put a little bit of a bevel on the back too, so it's not a sharp edge. Okay, get it to the shape you want. And let me take you over to the table and I'll show you the next steps. Oh, by the way, if you're doing a slab, I have a little one here that I started doing. Dropped it. Okay, so if you're doing a slab, you're basically doing the same thing. You're going to take the Dremel and you're going to start rounding all the edges off. I'll show you. You see how that ends up leaving some of the brown in the middle? So, you know, again, it's just a different look. And by the way, if you don't like the smell of a dentist's office when you're getting a filling or something, or if you don't know what that smell is like, that's great because that means you never had a filling. But that's what this smells like. I mean, you're basically grinding bone. But so the slab works pretty much the same way as the cut part, and you get it to the shape you want. All right, and I'll take you over and show you the next step. I got you over by the drill press. And again, if you don't have a drill press, you can use, you know, a hand drill, old-fashioned style. You can use an electric drill, battery-operated drill, whatever you got. I've even heard of them using like a hot pin or something, but I don't think I would attempt that. So the next thing you're going to want to do is you want to take it and you want to make a mark where you want to drill your holes. Okay, and just a word of caution, if it's very round on the top, you're going to want to make a little bit of a indentation on it. You could use your Dremel tool with a like a little carving bit, like a diamond tip bit or something, if you happen to have that. But just to show you what to do, I'll make a mark and go slow. There's 2 holes. All right, so the next step is you're going to get yourself some sandpaper, okay? And you're just going to take this and you're going to give it a nice sanding. Get it all nice and smooth as you want, okay? And if you're going to polish it, you're going to want to get down to a very fine grit. Like I'll go all the way to like a 500 if I'm going to polish it. So let's assume I took it down to a 500 and I'll show you my little polishing wheel I made up. Alright, so here's my little polishing station. I made this out of a motor I got. I think it was from an old ATM. What's cool about this motor is whichever way you start this off is the way it'll go. So if I roll this way and turn it on, it spins that way. If I turn it off, if I spin it this way, it spins that way. It's a pretty cool feature. Okay, so just remember when you're polishing, okay, you want the wheel to go down, okay, and you always want to polish on the bottom part, all right, because if the wheel is going up and you put your piece of material against it, is a chance it's going to go flying up and hit you in the face. Okay, so you always want the wheel to be going down and you want to be past the center point of the wheel, so that if it does catch or go flying out of your hand, it's going to go down and hit the floor. Okay? So you're going to need some polishing compound. This is, I think, what they call brown triple E. This is for like aluminum, plastic, bone, right? So you always want some kind of the correct compound for whatever material you're polishing. So how you use this is you turn this on, and as it's spinning, you're going to hold this against it. And then I'll show you how to polish this. Okay, not sure if that's showing up, but there's a shine on that already. And again, this was just pretty much rough cut, rough sanded. You know, if you get it very smooth and get a nice fine grit, you get a really nice shine on it. So let me take this over to the table and we'll wrap this up. All right, let's do a quick little recap. So I wanted to show you this. If you look inside here in the middle here, you see all those little pieces of, not pieces, but those little marks? That's that pithy stuff I was telling you about. So this should have been cut a little further up towards the tip of the antlers. Okay? But again, this wasn't finished sanded or, you know, totally finished, but you got pretty much the premise of what you do. And it is shiny. I think you saw it a little bit better in there, but so again, we'll just go over. If you use the slab, you're going to get a much smoother, nicer finish. Okay, and then you take the slab, you just doing the sanding just like I showed you. If you don't have a Dremel, this can all be done with files and by hand. Okay, and just remember that the further away from the pedicle, the base, that you get up, okay, it's going to start to get clearer and it's going to be solid bone or antler. It's not really a bone, but you get a better finish for it. So there you go, just a little quick tutorial on how to make a authentic antler button. Hopefully you have a piece of antler and you try this. Just be careful in your state, if you, depending on where you are. Sometimes there's laws that you're not allowed to remove the antlers from the woods if you find them. They are eaten mostly by mice and you know, rodents, that type of thing. They chew on them because they get a lot of calcium out of them. I mean, I found antlers in the woods that were pretty much just demolished from being chewed up. So again, if you're going to go out in the woods and find an antler, just make sure it's legal in your state. And you know, otherwise you can buy them online. People sell them all the time. So again, thanks for watching, everyone. I really appreciate all your views and your comments, and I hope you're having a great day, and we'll see you on the next one.